up. Okay. Welcome to the live stream. Let me go ahead and share this. Okay. Welcome to the live stream. Let me go ahead and share this. Okay. Welcome. Wow, that was quick. Live stream. Go ahead and share this. Okay. Wow, that was quick. Doesn't start for a few more minutes. I'm once again sorry about the oops, the sound. It's over here. Put that there. I'll get started at 9:45. I'm just kind of chilling out. I'm gonna get it set up. Password. Create material. I don't know, Imperial? I'll put it there. That makes the most sense. So I guess we just keep waiting. Name. So I guess we just keep waiting. Name. So I guess we just keep waiting. Name. So I guess we just keep waiting. Oh God. So I guess we just keep waiting. I don't know why mine echoes. But I hope it doesn't do that for real. Ooh, I want that light right there. Let you join. Here, what are you even doing here? It's supposed to be doing biology. We'll have our live stream. Oh God. Oh, I can speed up. USA. This is funny. Ooh, I want these. T-minus 4 minutes until we get started. Oops. Spooky. I think the big one shouldn't be allowed to go fast. That's cheating. Ah, I got one. It's up here. I would be a really bad streamer because I'm not talking right now. And like, it doesn't even occur to me to talk to anyone. I'm just like playing my game. Oh, look at the baby one. Oof. Biggest oof. I made mistakes. Mistakes indeed. Mexico. Yep, F in the chat. Did not go super well. Just about one more minute and we'll get started. Oh God, oh God. Oh, I took someone out. Oh God. Oh, I took someone out. Something. Oh God. Oh, I took someone out. It's so weird that it like echoes when I'm listening to my own, but like I have it on the headphones, so I don't know how that's possible. Okay, it's about 9:45, so let's get started. Today's topic is physics and animals. I just lined up a couple examples. It's not going to be too long. We're not going to be doing calculations like on Tuesday. I did just want to kind of highlight a couple interesting physics phenomenon in the animal kingdom. I am the biology teacher. Oh my God, my stocks are so high right now. So I just wanted to highlight some of those. So let's jump into it. I have a couple of videos, and I will be posting all of these later. We'll start small. Functioning mechanical gears seen in nature for the first time. This is actually super cool. There is this like little flea tick creature. It's a plant hopping insect, and it was actually seen to have interlocking cogs like gears which help it jump simultaneously. Let's see if they show. There we go. Whoop. So this is one of the first examples of gears using mechanical advantage, which is a physics concept to be able to actually move and jump. The video goes on to say that like before this discovery, we thought gears to be simply man-made. It's just this guy talking a lot about things, and then they show cute little videos. But this creature, Isis, has these gear-like mechanisms, and it allows it to transfer a significant amount of potential energy to kinetic energy, which is kind of cool. There it is. That's the first one. We're starting off simple. Some people had some requests about how cats work, so I found Smarter Every Day. It's a really cool physics guy, so let's watch this video and we'll see cats and why they can land on their feet every single time. Ooh, there she goes. Make a YouTube video or a YouTube channel, Physics Reacts. Watch that again. Let's watch that again. Cat's upside down. And somehow twists her body and then stops twisting to land perfectly. every time.
Okay, the first thing a cat does when it's falling is try to figure out which way is up. It does this either with the gyro in the ear or with its eyes. 3, 2. Ready to talk cat physics? Alright, so check out this footage I captured with the Phantom Miro while Gigi goes to get a drink of water. So here's what's interesting about this to me. If you'll notice at the beginning of the drop, the cat is not rotating. Halfway through the drop, the cat is rotating, and then at the very end, Gigi somehow stops rotating.
Okay, so that's an interesting thing he brings up. We're rotating, we're not rotating, and then we rotate, and then we stop rotating, all seemingly without any external forces. That's interesting. We learned in class that in order to cause movement, you need to have some sort of external force, usually, because everything has to balance out.
Newton's first law says that an object at rest will stay at rest unless acted on by an external force.
Told you.
I see no external forces on this cat. So what's happening here? It's not making sense to me. Okay, so in order to really get the right data, we're going to have to drop her 90 degrees out of phase. Ready, girl? This time, watch her tail. 3, 2, 1.
Oop. Look at her go. Oop, I got a message.
Okay, so you think you figured it out? Check this out.
Okay, so let's go back and analyze that video real quick. This is actually kind of a misnomer. So the first time you might watch it, you might think, okay, the cat is spinning, so there must be some sort of rotation going on, right? Yes, we're falling in a straight line, which is linear motion, but what we care about, because linear motion will happen anyways, the cat's always going to fall. We care about the spinning. So you might think, well, there must be a conservation of angular momentum, and if we watch the cat, I'm going to put it on mute. Conservation of angular momentum says that if the sum of the angular momentums must equal the same. So first we're not spinning. So the cat's front spins one way and his tail spins the other way. They could cancel each other out potentially, and we would still end up with a net angular momentum of 0. So it still could work out. Let's check out how the cat's tail spins the other way. That would be a very, very good first guess. Like if I was a researcher watching this, that would be my first inclination.
Okay, so you think you figured it out? Check this out. You probably noticed that when the cat was falling, her tail was rotating in the direction opposite of where her body was rotating.
There we
What's
go.
interesting about that is that that's not how it works. In fact, even bobtail cats can do this. It's called the cat riding reflex. I'll prove it to you. I came across some video from the 60s when the Air Force was researching microgravity for future astronauts. Turns out they took some cats up on parabolic flights. He tries to rotate his tail to flip over, but it doesn't work. He just ends up newtoning wildly. Then he does something interesting. He takes his back and he bends it. And when he bends his back and then creates motion, something interesting happens. Ah, now we're getting somewhere. So let me show you one more cat flip with the Miro and we'll figure this out. Okay, the arched back ends up being pretty important. What he does is he divides his body up into 2 separate rotational axes that are tilted from one another. When he's released, he pulls his front paws in and does the ice skater trick. He decreases his moment of inertia in the front so he can spin fast up there.
Okay, so let's take this one step at a time. So he's saying the cat's front paws go in. We know from our lessons before that when we decrease our radius of our mass, we bring more mass towards the center, we tend to spin faster.
But in the back, he pushes his legs away from him, increasing his moment of inertia.
The out legs are going out, which means that they won't rotate.
So a really large twist in the front equals a really small twist in the back in the opposite direction, and the torques equal out. So as soon as he gets his front paws in under him, all he has to do is extend those legs back out to increase that moment of inertia and stop the front twist, and extend his back legs along that rear axis. That allows him to twist those around really fast, and then all he has to do is pull them back in under his body and then extend all 4 legs and brace for impact.
Whoa, that was a lot. Can we get some kind of diagram, please? That might be a little bit more helpful. There it is. So we have a small front inertia, a large back inertia. That lets us rotate very quickly here, and very big here and very small here, and it's still going to balance out because of angular momentum. Then the front's where it is, we make a big moment of inertia, so even if we do need to make any changes to our angular momentum, it's not going to be that big because the moment of inertia is so large. That means that our angular speed is going to be small, so we're not going to see very much change in the front. But now that our back legs are tucked under the body, our moment of inertia is small, that angular momentum change is going to cause our rotation to be bigger because our inertia is small, and that's going to cause a larger rotation. So we can spin those in the right place. So basically, the angular momentum is always going to be the same. It's just that where are we seeing those changes? Is it going to be the rotation, or is it going to be the moment of inertia? When we make moment of inertia big, rotation is small. That's when we already are where we want to be. When the moment of inertia is small, rotation is big. That's when we want to make a change. Woo!
So thank you for your attention. I hope you learned something pretty flex or hitting the catapult.
We good. So we might think it's the tail, and tails might be helpful, but it's actually the entire second half of the body that's doing those things. I want to look at this video too. So this person did a similar thing, except with squirrels. So let's watch that.
Amazingly, I'll show you how the squirrel is totally in control pretty much the whole time.
Whoop!
Alright, now here's a second angle.
Whoop! Aw, poor Sky.
Also, even if you don't trust my calculations, I can assure you that the squirrels did not care. In both launch cases, they were back up on the course in like 5 minutes. Here's the slow-mo, and see if you can spot the 2 critical things he does to make sure he lands feet down.
Whoa!
Did you catch it?
Did you see that?
The first critical moment is right here. He's already done the predictive math, and he's locked his head on the spot where he plans to land. And now his head will not lose that lock the whole way down. What's crazy is the time it takes him to do all the predictive math to know exactly where he will land and to lock his head is 300 milliseconds. That's exactly
it's like as fast as a flash.
Literally less than the blink of an eye. That blows my mind, but if you think about it, it makes sense these reactions would have evolved to be razor sharp if you live your life in the trees, constantly making split-second decisions. Now besides picking the landing spot with his head, the second trick is with his arms. When he wants to keep his upper body from rotating, he has his arms out. But the moment he wants to rotate his upper body quickly, he tucks them in. And then when he wants to stop rotating, he extends them out again. This is straight up conservation of angular momentum. It's the same trick ice skaters use. Basically, bring your limbs in if you want to rotate fast, extend them out if you want to slow the rotation. My buddy Destin from Smarter Every Day
there's a cat video
analyzing how cats always land on their feet, and they do the exact same 2 tricks. The head target lock and bringing limbs in to rotate and out to stop rotation. Here's the second launch. So this may look like pure luck in real time, but the slow-mo tells a different story. In that amount of time, he's already made a slight lateral push in that direction and locked his landing target with his head. We know
that is so cool.
He can rotate his body to any orientation, but he doesn't in this case because he sees his small push has already aligned him for the perfect landing. That's just so cool. And so after those 2 physical... Alright, now here's a second angle. 700 grams. Eventually, you'll be wondering what happened.
I just want to watch that one more time.
I'll show you how the squirrel is totally in control pretty much the whole time.
Let's see. Whoop. So, as you can see, in this small amount of time, the squirrel is instinctually bringing its arms in and its legs out at key pivotal moments to control its trajectory. As mentioned in the video, his head already knows where it wants to go, and he's able to land perfectly. This is all instinctual. Yes, you can make an argument that they're doing the calculations in their head, kind of like the same way we do it too. when we throw a ball or something. But I mean, I just think it's wild that, you know, squirrels. Oops, let's go back. That in a split second, this squirrel is making these movements to guarantee its trajectory and where it wants to go. Bringing the legs in, bringing the legs out, spinning its tail to also give it some balance. And we're there. Whoop!
Alright, now here's the second angle.
Squirrels are cool. Let's see, what else do I got for you guys? Oof.
Winter in the Yellowstone National Park.
British people.
Snow here is regularly more than 2 meters deep.
So this is an Arctic fox.
A red fox can survive here all winter.
I guess a red fox. Foxes are super cute. And they also use physics in a very unique way.
Their ability to pinpoint rodents beneath the thick layer of snow has always been attributed to their exceptional hearing.
So we used to think it was hearing. Look at him go. He's hearing. He's cruising for a person. He's looking for a mouse.
Muscles finely tune the position of the ear canal, so the fox can identify a sound and locate it more accurately. Thick grass, foxes use a technique called a mouse pounce.
Whoop. So foxes use this technique. They jump in the air and they basically drive their snout down into the ground, which actually would be a very cool move for like a fox Pokemon. I don't know why they haven't gone on this. We call it Fox Pound.
They found was that the overall hit rate was just 18%.
Ooh, okay. So the video tells us that a fox's success rate when using this technique is 18%. I don't know about you, but that's pretty small. Basically 1 in 5.
But when the fox faced in a northeasterly direction, the hit rate rose to a staggering 73%.
Whoa. So when the fox is facing north, we have an increased chance of getting our prey.
Unbelievably,
Ooh.
the foxes seem to be aligning their pounces to the Earth's magnetic field,
Magnets.
which tilts downward in the northern hemisphere. It's thought that the fox can detect this magnetism.
So the fox lines itself up with these magnetic lines and uses them to guide it, like a guidance system.
As the fox creeps forward, it listens for the sound of a mouse,
It's trying to find the mouse.
searching for that sweet spot where the angle of the sound hitting its ears matches the slope of the Earth's magnetic field.
It's aligning itself up with the magnetic
When
field.
it finds that spot, the fox knows that the prey is a fixed distance away, and it can calculate exactly how far to jump to land right on top of it.
Oh, whoa. Oh, look at him. Little feet. And
Scientists think
successful.
that the secret behind this talent might be a protein in the fox's eye called cryptochrome, which is sensitive to the Earth's natural magnetism.
that is so cool. Could you imagine having a protein that lets you see magnetic fields? How wild would that be? Magnetic fields basically travel, since we didn't actually get to this part, magnetic fields travel from the South Pole, whoop, and they kind of loop around to the North Pole. We live in a magnetic field. To an extent, other animals are sensitive. Geese use them to navigate, but we've never seen it in mammals. So this research is suggesting that foxes can maybe not see, but they're sensitive to the magnetic field to this point where they can actually align themselves to help them hunt. This video had more pouncing. Oop, look at him go. Oof. Could you imagine if the snow was only like a foot deep?
Might seem hopeless, but not to him.
Zoop. Aww.
An enormous leap
Got it.
to catch a critter under 3 feet of snow. He's home and he needs his ears. Catch.
Zoop. Oof. That's cute.
There's a catch.
So, Arctic foxes or red foxes can use magnetic fields, potentially see them, because we think it's a protein in their eye. Maybe they're just sensitive, and they line themselves up to better hunt. That's a Pokemon in the mix. I don't know about you guys. We'll make it an electric fire type, red fox, electric for magnetism, and its ability will be that when you're physically facing north, all its attacks hit. You're welcome, Game Freak. The last video, or the last thing I want to show, this was, I'm taking these from the comments you guys gave, just kind of about geckos. This is a little bit more chemistry. Static electricity helps geckos get a grip. So this article kind of explains how geckos are able to stick to surfaces that don't make sense. So as it turns out, they're able to have an adhesive force of about 10 newtons for each foot, which is actually a lot. It allows them to hang from a single limb if they choose. But the reason for this, where is it? Oh, each one of those little pads is covered with a macroscopic hair-like structure, setae, that is split into smaller spatula-shaped tips, being so small they can get to surfaces, forming an intimate contact. What they're saying is that these are actually van der Waal forces, dipole-dipole interactions that allow. So here's a crash course on van der Waal forces. Basically, intermolecules have positive and negative dipoles, which are kind of like a pole, like north pole, south pole, and that these poles can attract the other poles of other molecules. So the positive pole of one molecule can attract the negative pole of another, and that's a van der Waal force. So this article is suggesting that geckos use van der Waal forces to align their intermolecular dipoles with the intermolecular dipoles of a surface. They're able to shift those dipoles so they can either stick or not stick, and allow them to cling to surfaces that we wouldn't imagine would be clingable. So they're not actually clinging to a physical thing, not like Velcro, right? Velcro, like we kind of think of it as Velcro, which is like microscopic. Velcro are tiny little hooks and tiny little loops, and they interlock together. This is how Velcro works. So we think of being sticky as kind of being Velcro-y, but it's not. It's a static electromagnetic force. So potentially, if you want to hit a gecko with an electromagnetic EMP, maybe they'd all fall and die. Oof. Big oof. Yeah, so that's what I have for you guys today. There are many more examples of physics, animals using physics in the world. I mean, they use it every day. I just thought these were the most interesting, that are some stuff that we learned. All right, you can totally understand how a cat flips. Retracting the legs, big spin. Extending the legs, small spin. Just switch between the two until you get the combination you want. Same thing with the squirrel. The fox can see electromagnetic waves, and then I already put it away, but there was also the gear thing, which is kind of cool. Thank you for joining me in another session of Physics and Blink. We'll do something next week because we only have one more week of class. I'll keep highlighting cool things. Maybe we'll look at physics and, I don't know, like businesses or something. Like we'll look at roller coasters and how those work. Or would you guys want to know about like how they made the pyramids? That might be kind of cool. So we'll figure it out. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I see your comments, and I appreciate it, and I hope you guys find these things interesting. If this was actually in school, we'd be doing this stuff. Like I said, these little mini lectures in class, but I'm glad that you can still join me and do them here. I'll post these links also in the video description, so if you guys want to go back and watch them, you can. Alright guys, have a good rest of your day, and I'll catch you next time.